Welcome to August. We're doing the Three Rivers Homestead Every Bit Counts challenge here on Buttercup and Fern's Homestead. So come on in and see what we're up to. We're basically preserving every bit so that through the course of the month when we have crazy busy days we can do just 10 or 15 minutes of work. When we have a larger day we can do canning and preserving that way. Preserving what you can because every little bit counts. Hashtag Every Bit Counts Challenge. Come on into the countertop with me today. For today's contribution of Every Bit Counts Challenge, I will be making zucchini relish because I am overrun with zucchini right now, just like everybody else is. But I really like a relish, so that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to do a double batch just to knock it out of the park. I have time today. Let's get this done. I'm going to go ahead off camera and chop the onions. You don't need to see me ugly cry. I'm gonna just use my my mandolin chopper device here. I have tried several over the years and I haven't really been happy with them. I love this one. It has attachments that go here for slicing and shredding, and then inside it has blades that go here in different sizes so you can dice up your vegetables in different sizes. Today I'm using the finest, which is maybe 1/4 inch square. I just have diced the pieces small enough to fit on the grid and then give it a push. And I get a nice consistently sized pepper. I'll leave a link in the description to Amazon for this. I'm saving all my vegetable pieces to go into a broth later. Today was an exciting day. We have 6 adult laying hens and we have 3 Canadian breast pullets who have just started to lay. Today is the first day we got all 9 of our eggs. Some of them are still pretty tiny, but they're coming. Okay, I'm done with the chopper part. I'm going to remove the blade. And what you can't see from there, there's a pusher there to fit through the blades. I'll remove that too. They just pop out. And while I was using force on the top, I just had a dull blade on top. I think it's probably for Parmesan or something. And then I'm going to do 6 pounds of zucchini. I'm going to use a coarse grater for some, and I'm going to use a fine grater for some so that my relish has some substance. I'm going to go with the large one first just to knock this out of the park. It fits in the groove. It comes with a device to hold the zucchini if you like. To start with, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to just go, this is large enough. Get a hold of it the right way. I love using this blade for julienne carrots for my salad. I don't like just shredded carrots. They tend to get mushy and stick together and you can't even notice that you're eating carrots. But this has given me a nice large grate there. So begins the canning season of 2023. Hashtag homesteading realities. I'm making zucchini relish. I have heated jars, hot water, hot relish. Everything should have been just fine. The water's not even boiling in the water bath canner yet, and the jar popped the bottom. Now there's zucchini relish floating all through the water. The jars are all going to have to be washed, and I lost the jar of product. Oh man. So you might see I was just out collecting some chamomile. I don't get very much because my patch is so small. This is the first year I've ever grown chamomile. So I picked this one today and I bring it in the house and I just lay it on a paper towel to dry. When whatever I can harvest, I lay it on a paper towel to dry. And this is the first batch I'm going to be putting in a jar. I do have a rubber seal. I'll find a rubber seal for that before I close it up. So that'll be my jar for chamomile for the winter. Hashtag Every Bit Counts Challenge. Go over and visit Three Rivers Homestead on YouTube to find out more about the challenge. Today's Every Bit Counts challenge item is green beans. I don't have enough to do a regular sized batch of pickled beans, so I'll just be blanching and freezing these. Come on. I did find a recipe for small batch pickled beans, but I asked the hubby, you know, what would he prefer? He's not as much likely to go for a jar of pickles as he is to go for a jar of, or a package of beans in the freezer. He eats a lot of ramen, so he can grab a handful or a small package of green beans and throw that in his lunch. I see a lot of people that break their green beans. I was raised to cut them, so I've never tried just snapping them. I've given these a rinse, and I'm just going to cut off the tops and tails. I know you don't even have to cut off the tails, but it's a personal preference. And I'll be back in a few minutes with my bowl full of blanching. Here I have a large pot half filled with water, just waiting for that to come to a boil. And I'm using my pasta strainer insert. And I'm just going to wait for a minute. I have a bowl of ice water waiting, ready to go. I did a little bit of research about blanching times. I found everything from 1 minute all the way up to 7 minutes. I think I'll go middle ground and I'll get about 3 minutes. If you have a she who shall not be named device on your counter, you might want to turn down the volume for a minute. Okay, that looks like a good boil. And I'm just going to dump these in just the way they are. There's about a pound there. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes. Okay, so that's that. I'm just going to drain these. I brought a bowl over so the hot water doesn't drip on my feet. So there we have it. I've got them soaking in an ice bath, and as soon as they've cooled off a little bit, I'm going to put them in a freezer bag and vacuum seal them and put them in my freezer. Hashtag everybitcountschallenge. This is one more for the books. I'm hanging out with some of my chickens while they're free-ranging today. So I have to be outside. I might as well harvest some mullen blossoms. That's something for my hashtag Every Bit Counts challenge. I'll be saving these and putting them in oil so that we can use them for medication purposes later. Today for Every Bit Counts challenge, I got outside and I collected some mullen leaves. Some of these are small leaves off of a second year, and some of these are the rounded leaves off of a first year, but they should all have some medicinal properties. I also harvested some blossoms off of the spike on the second year plants. These can be dried and then mixed with oil to use for an ear ointment, or you can mix them with sugar to be a cough treatment. These can be brewed into tea, they can be smoked, or they can be put into capsule form. Mullen is good for asthma and upper respiratory things. And this is the first time I've harvested this. I have yarrow. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to have the leaves or if I'm supposed to have the blossoms, and I only took about a third of what I've got out there, and I'm going to research more and find out what parts I'm supposed to use and how I'm supposed to use them. I know you can use them in a tea, and I know they also have styptic properties to stop bleeding. I'll research more before I consume any of this. And that's it for today's hashtag Every Bit Counts challenge. Stop over to see Jessica at Three Rivers Homestead. What have I got here? Yesterday, I knew that I wasn't going to have time today to do a whole big preserving of anything. I peeled some zucchini and I ran it through the food processor, just shredded it, and I wrapped it up and kept it in the fridge overnight. Now I should be able to take this and squeeze some water out of it. Oh yeah, that's going to work. And then I'm going to put that in my dehydrator. These holes are too big. When the zucchini is dry, it'll just fall through the cracks. So I've taken just a regular sheet of parchment paper and I've cut it so that it lines the tray, and that will keep everything from falling through. There, I'm just going to put a thin layer on and dehydrate that. Well, here it is, Saturday. I don't have much time to get harvesting or preserving done today. We have guests in the house. I'm going to run out in my yard and quickly snatch up some herbs and hang them to dry. Come along with me. Here is my orange mint. I'm going to harvest some before that rust spot gets everywhere. I'll have some picking and choosing to do as I bring it in the house, but that's a start. Here next to my garden hose, I have some peppermint. I'll harvest some of that too. Here at the front of the house, I have my spearmint. I'll take some of that. Hopefully it will make this thicken up. It's spread quite wide, but it's not very thick, not very dense. Harvest some anyways. Every bit counts. And here we are by the front door. I have some lemon balm. Let's harvest that too. Then I'm going in. It is hot today. Snip, snip, snip. Okay, here we go. Uh-oh. That's my orange mint. Is that my spearmint or my peppermint? And is that the peppermint or the spearmint? Uh-oh. I have to label them immediately or I will forget. Certainly in a month when they're coming off the wall, I won't know what they are. So they're going to be labeled. And there's my lemon balm. So I got quite a bit there. Okay, I've taken these and I've just wrapped them with butcher twine and I've labeled them, and now they're going to go up and hang in the rafters. So here we go. I've got them up in the rafters, 2 here out of the way and 2 more here out of the way, and that's today's preservation. #EveryBitCountsChallenge.